Hi. One thing that I really like doing every day is going for an early morning walk. Other than the health benefits that I get from doing that, I also like to listen to programs like Audioverse, where I can hear from spiritual leaders and they can unpack and tell me things that I may have not known from the Bible. I'm just a regular Christian, a churchgoer, and if we're a Christian, we expect to be able to hear from God and hear from God personally. And I can't say that I've audibly heard the voice of God, but I know that definitely I've felt His intelligent impulses on situations and then seen that come through in the end. And as I look back, I know He's definitely been involved. How do you hear God? Who do you let yourself listen to? What you think about and dwell on makes a huge bearing on what you become. What a person thinks in his heart, so is he. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, it becomes a self-revealing prophecy. Thoughts become feelings, and then feelings, actions. And hopefully those actions are heading towards the character of Christ. God can and does use any means, nature, people, situations to show truth. And it does matter. But don't we want the clearest voice from God? And doctrine is important. I want to share the way that I believe is the most accurate and I've come across to study the Bible deeply and to get the accurate revelation of God's revealed will. I'm sure many others use the same process. There's two tools that I use. One, Strong's Concordance, and two, what I call the word focus matrix, which is just a table to organize your thoughts. As you know, the Bible wasn't written in English. The Old Testament in Hebrew and the New Testament in Greek. Many ministers and scholars have learnt Hebrew and Greek, but there's pretty much no chance that I'll probably ever learn Hebrew or Greek. But good luck, we actually have a way to look deeply into Greek and Hebrew without actually having to learn the language. A guy by the name of James Strong developed the Strong's Concordance in 1890. He was a professor at a theological seminary. He had a team of people doing it, and what he did is index to the Bible all the original Hebrew and Greek words. So each word was given a number, and then when you read the King James Version, which has Strong's numbers attached, you can look to the number, you can see what number it is. You can then refer back to the concordance to see what the original definition of that word is. And you can also search and see across the other verses in the Bible that use that same word. Sometimes a different English word has been used for the same Greek or Hebrew word. And it may actually fit in the context. When you convert it to English grammar, it might actually fit. But many times you'll see a deeper meaning when you cross-reference and you even look at the Hebrew or Greek definition. Now you have an understanding of the Strong's Concordance. I just wanted to show you what I call the word focus matrix. So as you can see, it's just a table, so nothing spectacular. And obviously as you go through, you want to make sure that you stick to the theme of the Bible, the book and the chapter as you go through. Okay, so what you have up the top here is a place to put your Bible theme, and then obviously your book theme, and then as you've read through the chapter a few times, you can then do your chapter theme there. Okay, everything is within context. Everything must be within context. Okay, so then you've got your focus text. So what text you're going to look at? Okay, and you're going to write that in there. Underneath there, you then have got your focus text, every word of your focus text. So one per line. So first word, second word, third word as you go down, and you put the Strong's number next door to it, what strong number was used. Okay, then you can put your Strong's definition. Now remember, a lot of this stuff can be copied and pasted from other programs, especially if you're using it electronically. You can just put that in there. By all means, you could do it by hand. It would take longer. Some people like to do that. They learn better just by the process of writing. With your book theme, Bible theme, chapter theme, you can clearly, there's been a lot written. You can copy and paste someone else's definition or thoughts on what the theme is, but I encourage you to write your own. Okay. Now, then over the next column, I've got parallel verse. So now you want to find, and it's easy electronically to find other verses that use that same Strong's number. Okay, and you can copy and paste that verse into that area there. Then over in the right column to that is where you now have compared your parallel verse with your focus text, particularly focusing on that Strong's number and how it was used. I like to write ideas in the form of a question, and the question I like to have the Strong's definition word in it, not necessarily the Strong's numbers, the word that was used in your focus text, that was translated to focus text, but if it fits, use that. But there are other definitions or other point of view in the definition, Greek or Hebrew, that you can pick and write your question with the most appropriate definition that you get from reading those two verses to what it means. Okay, and as you go along, you'll go down through your focus text, what Strong's number was used, and then find another parallel verse for that. What I like to do, it's got here just one parallel verse, but I like to go and have 2, 3, or even more verses to be able to get a clearer understanding of how that word was used in Greek or Hebrew by comparison. The more you compare with, the better it'll be. So we'll go through an example, and so you can see how I've interpreted this word focus matrix for myself.